Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic day of U.S. history. We are moving on from last week, week 3 U.S. history, onto week 4 U.S. history. Last week, we covered 3 different eras. We covered Progressive Era, Imperialism, and World War I. Like last week, I am going to go into an introduction to the new era. This week is going to be the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties, and then I'll go into the instructions for each of the options. As always, check the timestamps below in the description to take you to the specific section you want to get to. With that being said, this is Mr. Sanchez, and let's jump right into it. Alright, so we left off with the most recent era, World War I. It was horrible. The destruction was massive, and all the countries in Europe were devastated. But the one country that was not devastated was, of course, the United States. The war took place in Europe, not here. And this poses a very interesting situation. The United States, left untouched from this war, has an advantage over all the other countries. They can be the sole provider of these European countries, while the European countries are trying to rebuild. And the Republican Party knew this. But the Republican Party did not have the presidency. The presidency was attributed to Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson wanted this war to be the end of all wars, and he truly thought that. He will later be surprised when there's another one. Woodrow Wilson wanted to create something called the League of Nations. But here's the issue. When you are on the top of the world, why not take advantage of it? That's what the Republicans were thinking at the time, because as you're part of this League of Nations, where every country has one vote, everyone is equal in the decision-making process of the world, then what happens to the power of the United States? There is no power. There is no advantage. Why would the United States give up that advantage? Why should they try to create some organization to create world peace when profiteering is in the mix? So the Republicans, having control of the legislature, ends up knocking down the Treaty of Versailles and preventing the United States from joining the League of Nations. And that ultimately leads to the downfall, because the guy who created the League of Nations chooses not to join it. Imagine that. Imagine how ridiculous that is. With the Treaty of Versailles created, Germany being beaten down to the ground, and the United States refusing to join the League of Nations, we are moving into the next election, the next era, the Roaring Twenties. And we're going to start off with the election of 1920, because this is a very interesting election. We have 3 different parties running for the election, 3 major ones nationally, because you have not only the Democrat Party, you have the Republican Party, and you have the Socialist Party. Yes, that's right, the Socialist Party had about 6% of the vote from the last election, so they are now a national party. There's one thing though. We talked about in class about the Espionage Act, and how that effectively really ruined the progressive era. Well, the guy who's running for president, Eugene Debs, he's in prison right now, and he's running for president in prison, while Woodrow Wilson was the one that put him there. Woodrow Wilson, like I said, he wanted this war to be the war to end all wars. And that means he's going to stop anyone who's trying to prevent the United States from getting into the war, or preventing the full effort of the United States to fight against the enemy during this war. So anyone who speaks out against the United States, anyone who tries to slow down the war effort, is subject to be arrested. And that means all the progressives fighting during this time, because you can't fight for progressive values without criticizing the government. And when you criticize the government, well, you're slowing down the war effort, so you get arrested. With Eugene Debs in prison, more than likely we're going to stick to this 2-party system, the Democrats versus the Republicans. And Woodrow Wilson is a Democrat, and at this time there are no restrictions to how many times the president can run for office. So that means Woodrow Wilson could run again for a 3rd term. But the Democrat Party felt as though he was becoming unpopular because of World War I and trying to join this League of Nations, which the Republicans have done very well of creating propaganda and making sure that the people knew, or at least understood from the Republican point of view, that joining the League of Nations was a bad thing. So with Woodrow Wilson being unfavorable among the Democrats, they chose a new champion. This champion would be James M. Cox. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that his vice president at the time, the one he chose, is Franklin D. Roosevelt. Yes, the FDR that will later become president in the 1930s, but we're not there yet. On the Republican end, we have William Harding, and as his vice president, you have the future president, Calvin Coolidge. And so we have these two people. On the Democrat side, they're going to continue the ideas of Woodrow Wilson, while on the Republican side, Harding was calling to the end of this conflict. We've been fighting with each other for so much. There's so much division. We have dealt with wars. We have dealt with protests. We have done with strikes, walkouts. With all this changes, let's go back to a time that we all understood. Let's go back to our normal before World War I, before these wars, before the progressive era. Let's just go back to normal. Everyone likes normal. Everyone likes things to go back to what they're used to and what they remember. Everything seems better in nostalgia. But have you ever went back and watched a TV show that you really like, or tried a snack that you really like and realized, this tastes like garbage. This show is garbage. I didn't remember it being this way. Well, that's because nostalgia tends to warp the mind to make something look better than what it was. What was an era between these wars? What was the era before the progressive era? That's right, the Gilded Age. Which one's gonna win? The one that says, let's continue the progressive era, or continue some of the progressive policies, or the one that says, let's go back to normal? Well, the people were tired. They just dealt with the 1918 Spanish influenza pandemic. They dealt with the wars. They're tired. And maybe going back to the way things were is not that bad of an idea. And guess who won? William Harding. And now the age of Republican control, the decade of Republican control, takes over, and the Roaring Twenties begin. And something that gave William Harding the advantage during this time was the fact that his party also represented the Prohibition Party. And this is the first time women were able to vote. The first election women were able to vote. And the women also were organizing the anti-alcohol, the Prohibition movement. You can see based off this map that the Republicans were able to win the majority of states, while the Democrats were able to keep the southern states. And we're still seeing that Civil War line being drawn here in this electoral map. The 1920s was marked by increased use of technology, newer technology changing the way life is, also a new way of using money, credit, as well as the rise of racism, or the resurgence of racism and nativism. So go ahead and explore these options. That's all I have to say about the introduction, and let's go straight to the instructions. Alright, we are on option 1. So before I move on, let me just say again that you can go down to the description and click the time code to skip to whatever option that you specifically are doing. You do not have to watch this entire video. So just watch the parts that are relevant to you. So for option 1, what I did is I went to my home page, I clicked classwork, and it should be one of the first things that pop up, week 4 distant learning. If not, you can always find it on the topics on the left. So over here on the left, you're going to click week 4 distant learning, and there should be 2 assignments or 2 materials here. The one on the very bottom, the one that says week 4 assignments, that's where we're going to turn everything in. But you're going to get your assignments, your copies of the assignments, from the materials, where it says materials and instructions. It should have this little bookmark up here. What you're going to do is you're going to go to week 4, number 1. So that's week 4, option 1. You're going to click that. So now you are in week 1, option 1. Now you can do whatever you want, but that's not the case. It's all frozen up. You can't add anything, and that's because you need to make your own copy. Every time you cannot touch the document, make your own copy. And the way you do so is by going up to File, Make Copy, change your name to your actual name. So I'm going to put Mr. Sanchez, week 4, number 1, click OK. And from here, I can make all the changes and add the answers to these questions. Now, where do you find the material to answer the questions? We're going to go up to Khan Academy, and from here, you're going to go to Rise of World Power. But we've already covered imperialism. We already covered World War I. What you're going to do, you're going to scroll down to the Roaring Twenties, 1920 America, and you're going to read these different articles. If you're wondering where I get these questions from, I get them from the article themselves. So as you click the article, you read it, read, and at the very bottom it says, what do you think? Why do you think African American men gained the right to vote decades before women did? That is where I get the questions. I merely just copied and I pasted over to this document for you guys. Made it easier for you, so you don't have to do the copy and pasting yourself. Each bolded title is a separate article. So that means you're looking for these articles specifically to answer the questions. Once you got your questions down, you're going to go back to the main page of Google Classroom. From here, go to Classwork, Week 4 Assignments, then View Assignment. And here, this is where you're going to add your work. So you're going to go and click Add or Create, go to Google Drive, and then from here, you should have Week 4, number 1, Mr. Sanchez, your recent name. If you can't find it, just search it up here in the bar. It should be W4-number 1. It should lead you directly to the document that you just created. So you're going to click that. It's been added to the assignment page, but you need 3 options. So you're not going to turn it in yet. Now, let's move on to the next option. All right, for option 2, you are going to go up to Classwork, then go to Week 4 Distant Learning, and then from here, you're going to go down to Week 4, option not number 1, but option number 2. So number 2, you're going to click that. Now that it's loaded up, you're going to try to do what you usually do, which is type stuff in and realize I can't type anything. I can't mess with this. How do I access this, Mr. Sanchez? How do I get this and turn this in? Google Classroom is not working for me, Mr. Sanchez. What you're going to do is not go up to Request Access. You need to make your own copy. Every time you cannot access the document, you cannot make changes to the document. It means you need to make a copy. So go up to File, Make Copy, change the name to your name, click OK. Now you have your own personal copy to where you can type wherever you want and you can type all the answers. Now, where do you find the video? Where do you find the information to answer these questions? Well, every time you see a blue underline word, phrase, it means it's linked. So you're going to click the link, CNN 10, and it will take you to the video. And the video changes every day. So you may start on it one day, and then if you come the next day, you realize, oh, that video's gone. It's not there anymore. Well, that's because this link changes every day. Now, once you watch the video, go back to the document, answer the questions, give a summary with specific references. Please use complete sentences, no bullet points. Ask your parents, friends, family member, anybody what their opinions are over the video or over the events or decisions being made. Record their opinion and why they think that. And then, do you agree or disagree with your parents, your friends, or family member? The link to the video, if you cannot access it through the hyperlink up in the page, is cnn.com/CNN10. That is the link right here, cnn.com/CNN10. You can type that in your browser, in your phone, or the computer, and it can take you directly to the video. Now, once you have answered all the questions and you're ready to turn this in, you go back to the main page of Google Classroom, click Classwork, Week 4 Distant Learning, go down to the assignment page. It has this clipboard, so you're going to click the assignment, and then from here, it'll take you to your turn in page. You're going to click the Add or Create, Google Drive, and put in W4 number 2. If you can't find it here, go to the search bar and just type in W4 #2. And it should be one of the first things that pop up in your page. Once you click it, it's going to add it to the assignment. Now, you do not turn it in yet. You need 3 different options. So until you get 3 different documents up here on the page, you can't turn it in. Once you do have the 3, then you can click Turn In and you're good. Now let's go on to the next option. Option number 3. So we're going to do the same thing as usual. Go up to Classwork, click Week 4 Distant Learning. Go to the materials page, says materials and instructions, and go down to hashtag number 3. Hashtag number 3 represents option number 3, W4 representing week 4. You're going to click that. And from here, you're going to be like, cool, I can make all the adjustments I want, I can change it, but no, you cannot change it. Whenever you can't change the document, what does that mean? It means you make your own copy. So go out to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and you are going to put in your name. Once you have your name, click OK. And now you have a copy of the document to where you can make your own changes. This is the same thing as usual, and I'm giving you options. The Roaring 20s was a crazy time. There were so many things going on, so many innovations, change of culture, a lot of conflicts with people as well. And so not only do you have the presents, but I'm giving you the option. You can make your own PowerPoint over them if you want. You don't have to. You can also just research it on your own time. But here are a few people. You have Al Capone, gangsters, Babe Ruth, baseball, Duke Ellington, jazz, Langston Hughes, poetry, Coco Chanel. Chanel made pants. Imagine time before pants. Bessie Smith, the Empress of Blues. Marcus Garvey, Black Nationalism. John Scopes, Teaching Evolution. Edgar Hoover, FBI. This dude right here. He was in charge of the FBI over the course of around 6 or 8 presidents. This dude has been around, and he has a lot of power with the FBI. And he had conflicts with what would later be the Black Panthers. Then you also have Eugene V. Debs, the presidential candidate running from prison. Now, with that being said, you don't have to research those, you don't have to look into them, but I highly recommend you try at least 1 or 2 of these people just to get a little understanding of the time and see what changes were being done within the 1920s. Once you have this done, you've made all the changes that you want, go back to the main page, go to classwork, week 4 assignment, view assignment, and then from here, you just add it to your assignment page, and once it's added, you can click turn in. But don't turn in until you got 3 options there. Let's move on to the next option. For option number 4, you're going to go right back up to classwork. So go up to classwork, click week 4 distant learning. And then from here, you're going to scroll down to where you see materials and instructions. Click that. That's where you're going to get all your work. And then go to hashtag number 4. That represents option number 4. So go ahead and click option number 4. Now that it's loaded, you're going to be like, cool, it's loaded. I can make changes. I can answer these questions now. Wait a second, I can't do anything. When you can't do anything, what do? You click not request edit access. You click file, make a copy. And then under make a copy, go to make sure you change the your name to your name. So let me do that real quick. There we go. I have my name now. It's Mr. Sanchez, W4, week 4. Hashtag number 4, option number 4. So go ahead and click OK. Once it is loaded, now you can make all the changes that you want. So you can put spaces in between here, and you can add your own answers to it. And where do you find all the information? Well, you click the links on the document. So go ahead and click Crash Course, the Roaring 20s. And it'll take you up to a new tab, and under this new tab, you are going to get an ad. As always, YouTube ads are getting ridiculous. But once you skip it, you can go on, and then you have the Crash Course History for the Roaring 20s. While you're listening to the Crash Course History, make sure you're keeping up with the questions down here. You have 15 questions to answer. Once you answer those 15 questions, you are done. If you want to change this however way you want to, and you need to figure out where to find all the questions, are also here in this Google Doc. Now, once you're done making all the changes and answering the questions, go back to your main page on the Google Classroom, go to classwork, and scroll down to this clipboard where it says week 4 assignment. So it's under distant learning, clipboard, week 4, go ahead and click that, and it'll take you to the turn in page for the assignments. You need 3 options before you turn in. Now that you have option number 4, you're going to click add or create, Google Drive. Then from here, it should be W4, hashtag number 4. If you can't find it, go up to the search bar and type in W4 dash hashtag number 4. And it should be one of the first things that pop up. You click it, it'll add it directly to the assignment. Once you have it and you have 2 others, go ahead and click turn in and you're done. Now let's move on to the next option. Option number 5, we're going to do same thing as always. Go up to the classwork, click classwork, then go to week 4 distant learning, and you're going to be led to these 2 major sections. You have the materials and instructions, and you have the actual assignment page. This is where we're going to turn in all your work. But you gather your work by going to the materials and instructions. And you're going to go to the document that says W4 number 5. So week number 4, option number 5. So go ahead and click that. As always, number 5 is one of my favorite ones to do. It's more creative. You can really go in depth, and I want you to go in depth. Don't give me just very simple explanation or a simple story. I want you to give me some detail. Pretend like you're actually there. I've already read a couple of these assignments, and some of y'all guys are just like, I did this, I did that, the end. No, I want you to go in depth. Give me some details. What are the feelings? What are you seeing? What are other people doing? Give me details. This isn't supposed to be some simple thing you get done within 2 seconds. I want you to really spend some time working on option number 5 if you choose to do option number 5. Now, as always, you cannot change anything, and when you can't change anything, what do? You click, nope, not request edit access. You click file, make a copy, and then you're going to change your name to your actual name. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now you have your name up here, you change it, and you have week 4, number 5, click OK. Now that it's loaded up, you can make all the changes that you want, and let's say that you're done, you're ready to turn this in, go back to the Google Classroom, click Stream, Classwork, Week 4 assignments is also going to be over here. So week 4 distant learning, week 4 assignments, click it. And then from here, you're going to turn in the work. And the way you do so is by clicking add or create, Google Classroom or Google Drive. And here it is, week 4, number 5. If you can't find it, always search it. Go for W4-number 5, week 4, number 5. One of the first things that pops up. So click W4, number 5, and it should be added to the documents that you already attached. Now, again, you do not turn this in until you do 3 assignments. Once you have your 3 assignments, go ahead and turn it in, and you're done for the week. Now let's move on to the next option. Option number 6, you're going to do the same exact thing as we usually do, which is you go up to classwork, click week 4 distant learning, and you're going to go to materials and instructions. Under materials and instructions, go ahead and click hashtag number 6. So under hashtag number 6, W4, hashtag number 6, you're going to click that. That represents option number 6. So click that. And then you're going to be like, cool, I can do what I want, I can change things, and you realize, I can't. So what do you do when you usually cannot adjust the page? It means that you go to, no, not request edit access, you go to File, make a copy, and change your name to your actual name. So I'll do that real quick. So now my name is up there, it says Mr. Sanchez, W4, week 4, hashtag 6, number 6, option 6. So click OK. Now that it's loaded, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to change this and add your answers. Now you can go to docsteach.org, scroll down to the Explore, and type in prohibition, and look through all the different documents. There are 4 pages worth of documents that you can choose from. Or you can skip this part and do the ones that we already picked for you. So as you scroll down, you have different letters and different documents that come from the Prohibition era. When you do this assignment, you're not going to just explain how they're relevant, but what insight does it give you about the era? What does it show you about the people who were living at this time, what they thought, how they act, how the culture of the era is like? Every single time you have a primary source, it opens up a window for you to look into that era and see what people's mindsets were. This is kind of the same way I approach TV, films, and comic books as well, me personally. Every time I watch a TV show or movie, you have to understand it was written by a person. That person has their own perception of the world. And based off how they create the scenes and how they get the actors to act, is showing you what they see as the reality of this world or what they see as the stereotypes of the world. So it gives you an idea of what the culture's like and what people thought at the time. So go ahead and explain, based off this document, what was the culture like? What were the 1920s like? What did this author believe in? And what about the document gives you that idea? Once you're done and giving your explanation, you're going to go to the assignment page. So classwork, week 4 assignments is going to be the one with this clipboard. View assignment. And you're going to add it to your other documents. So you're going to click add or create. Go to Google Drive. And if you can't find it in your most recent, you can always type in W4 for week 4. Hashtag number 6, and it should be one of the first things that comes up. Oop, not $sign number 6. Hashtag number 6. And there it is. So once you click it, you have your assignment attached. And so once you have 3, like I have 3 up here, you can go ahead and click turn in. Are these the one you want to turn in? Yes, those are the ones I want to turn in. And then it goes from the word assigned to turned in. And you're done. There you have it, everybody. Those were the instructions to the options as well as an introduction to the Roaring Twenties. And again, I beg you guys over and over again, I beg you, please reach out to me if you're confused or you have questions. I'm here to help. I'm trying my best to make sure that you guys are taken care of and you know what you're doing. So if you have questions, please reach out to me through my email, through the remind number, or even through my work number, all of which are going to be posted in Google Classroom at the very top. So check that out if you need any help. I'm here to help. Now, if you haven't done so, check out week 3 choice boards video over here if you haven't done week 3 yet and you're behind. And if you're still confused over turning in work, go ahead and click this video over here. This video over here will tell you how to turn in that work through Google Classroom. With that being said, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next time.